So, good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to parallel session 2 of the 8th International Language and Language Teaching Conference in Room 2. My name is Patrice Angeliatan, a 7th semester student of Sanata Dharma University as today's moderator in this room. I'll be in charge of this parallel session. Before we begin, please let me read the rules. 1. Each presentation will last for 15 minutes. 2. In this parallel session, there will be 3 presentations delivered in a row. 3. For the presenters, I will remind you if you have 5 minutes left by a raise hand icon, followed by a notification in the chat box if you have 2 minutes left. So make sure you can notice the chat box feature. And 4. We will have question and answer session after all presenters have finished their presentations. 5. You may find other rules in the program book. Now, without any further ado, let's start the presentation. There are 3 presentations in this room. The first one is by Ms. Novita Melati Anantaputri, and the second one is by Theophane Nurinikwea, and the third one is by Mr. Nyoman Yesayasa. And let's start with the first presentation. We have Ms. Novita Melati Anantaputri. The title is An Analysis of the Language Styles Used by Lara Jean Coffey in Alvarez's film To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So, Ms. Novita Melati Anantaputri and Ms. Johanna Veniranda, you may have your time and good luck.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So here I will present the research entitled An Analysis on the Language Styles Used by Lara Jean Coffey in Alvarez's film To All the Boys I Loved Before. So this is the research by me, Novita Melati Anantaputri, and Ms. Johanna Veniranda. So next, table of contents. So in this presentation, the contents are background, research questions, theories, methodology, findings, conclusion, and recommendation. The first, the background. So in here, I highlight 3 main topics. The first is language, second is language styles, and the third to all the boys I loved before film. So the first, language is what the representative of a specific society deliver. Language is used by individuals to communicate with others. They use a different kind of language when they talk to others in every different situation. In other words, people can speak or interact with each other by using different style of language or language styles. So what is language styles? The language style is how people use the language in communication, whether in written or spoken. In other words, people can talk or interact with each other by applying a language style variation. The variety of language style depends on some elements that can be replaced with the term of social factors. Furthermore, they can freely use their language styles to express that feeling based on the context of the situation. In this research, the writer focuses on the language styles found in To All the Boys I Loved Before film. So, To All the Boys I Loved Before film is a 2018 American teen romance film directed by Susan Johnson and written by Sofia Alvarez, based on Shelley Hans's 2014 novels of the same name and released by Netflix on August 17, 2018. Next film introduction. So, To All the Boys I Loved Before film get a 97% rating on the review aggregation website called Rotten Tomatoes. Netflix has revealed that the film has actually gone on to become one of its most viewed original film ever. Also, the trailer of the film itself already has more than 11 million viewers on YouTube. So this film told about the Lara Jean Coffey, a teenager who liked to write a letter to all her past lovers. The letters are only meant for her eyes, actually, until one day all the love letters are sent out to all her previous lovers. Her life is soon thrown into a chaos when they confront her one by one. And next, the research question. So, in here, there are two research questions. The first one is, what types of language styles are used for Laurentian copy in Alvarez's film To All the Boys I Loved Before? And then the second one, what are the social factors that influence Laurentian copy in using different language styles in Alvarez's film To All the Boys I Loved Before? The next is theories. So there are three main theories that the writer used in this study. The first one is about the language styles. So according to Jews, speech defines as the language form used by the speaker and is categorized by the degree of formality. He classified the styles in five types, such as present style, formal style, consultative style, casual style, and intimate style. And then the next theory, based on the Francis 1965, this is the supporting theories. There are also five different kinds of language styles. Same with the Jews, there are present style, formal style, consultative, casual, and intimate style. And then the third theories from Holmes, 1992, proposed that the use of language is oriented by few related aspects relevant to the situation, and they can be categorized as follows: the participant, like who is speaking and with whom, the location and social situation, where are they speaking, the topic, what are they talking, and the function, why are they speaking, or the reason. And those theories were used to analyze the transcript, classify the data, and answer the research question. Next is methodology. So in here, the study is mixed research. Why? Because according to Bregman 2008 and cited in Pamekasis 2017, mixed research is the mix of at least one quantitative and at least one qualitative element in a single research proposal. In here, I use the mathematical formula to count the percentage, and also why qualitative, because this is a content analysis. Content analysis is the systematization of the text analysis. Underlying meanings and ideas are revealed by analyzing the parent in the text elements, such as words and phrases. Content analysis allows the writer to test theoretical issues to enlarge the knowledge of the data. Additionally, a descriptive research design also selected by the writer to analyze the data because of the data found in this study were analyzed descriptively. So, according to Suraya 2017, cited in Abidin 2018, descriptive studies deal with the writer explanation and the information to describe the utterances expressed by the subject. And then the next type and source of data. So the data of this study were the Larragin's utterances, Larragin's analysis, clause, phrase without song lyric, and also the expression of the Larragin's in the poem. Whereas the data sources of this study were To All the Boys I Loved Before film and To All the Boys I Loved Before film script, so the script itself. And next, data gathering technique. The first one, the writer downloaded To All the Boys I Loved Before film and the script from the internet, and then read the script when watch the film to match and check the script. And then the next, listed the utterances in the script that have been spoken by Rajan Kavi and put it into a table. Then analyze the types of language style by highlighting the language style and differentiate them into five categories according to Ju's theory. This is the table where I put the list of sentences uttered by Laurentian Copy. And then next is data analysis technique. The first one, the writer identified the selected data can indicate the types of language styles. And then second, the writer classified and analyzed data that indicate the types of language styles. Last, the writer summarized the result in the form of a percentage and analyzed the social factors that influence Laurentian Copy in using certain language style according to Holmes' theory. This is the table observation checklist for Laurentian Copy language styles, and the next is the table of data of types of language styles in the film. And then the findings. So this is the percentage of the use of types of language styles by Laurentian Copy. From the table, we can know that casual style is the most style Laurentian used in the film, which is 68.30%. And then we can know also, according to Chu's theory, the percentage of types of language style used by Laurentian is 60%. How can I get the 60% by the formula? Each of number of Laurentian's language style type divided by the total number of the Laurentian's language style type, and then we can multiply it by 100. And then the next, the social factors that influence Laurentian Copy in using different language styles. Based on Holmes' 1992 theories, the writer analyzed the sentences that were spoken by Laurentian. Here are the examples of the results for the three types of the language styles: consultative, casual, and intimate. The first example. This is the conversation between the wearer and the Laurentian. From here, we can know that we can get the social factors that make Laurentian say the sentences because of the participant, setting, topic, and function. How can we know these social factors? Because the first one, the participant, we can know that the participant are the waiter and the Laurentian. The setting is in the restaurant. The topic is about giving information, and the function is to give information that Laurentian is come in the restaurant alone, not without her friends. And it is same like the another example. The writer also found the participant, setting, topic, and function, and also the last example also participant, setting, topic, and function. And then the conclusion. Laurentian used three types of language styles in Sofia Alvarez's film To All the Boys I Loved Before. Those three types of language styles are consultative style, intimate style, and casual styles. Casual style is the most dominant language styles that Laurentian used in the film. And then the second conclusion, based on the findings, there are four social factors that influence Laurentian Copy in using different language styles in film. There are participant, setting, topic, and function. And then next is recommendation for the future researchers. They can study more about the characteristic of each type of language styles, conduct the same research with the different subject and purpose, and then for the current practice, it can be in the search for the teaching material in sociolinguistics, especially for the language styles topic. So I think that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Novita Melati Ananta Putri. So that was a very interesting, and actually To All the Boys I've Loved Before is one of my favorite movie as well. So thank you very much for presenting your presentation, and let's give applause for Miss Novita Melati Ananta Putri. All right, before we go to the next presentation, I'd like to remind you, the participants, if you have a question for the presenters, you may shoot and write the question in the chat box with the format, name, affiliation, to whom the question is addressed to, then the question. And later, the presenters will answer it during the question and answer session. Or if later you want to ask the question directly to the presenters, it's also possible. Thank you. And now let's move to the next presentation. The title is An Analysis of Figurative Language Used in Some Bible of the Old Testament. It will be delivered by Ms. Teofani Nurinikwea from Sanata Dharma University. Ms. Nurinikwea, you may have your time and good luck.
Thank you for the opportunity. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Teofani Nurinikwea, and I'm the student of Sanata Dharma University. And now I'm going to present my research entitled An Analysis of Figurative Language Used in Some Bible of the Old Testament. Here are the parts of my research that I would like to show you. And we come to research background. Sometimes we find it difficult to understand Bible because the sentences have hidden meaning and it is not literally stated by the authors. Many researchers have investigated the figurative language used in the Bible. Moreover, a few emphasized the examples of figurative language and their meaning for students' language learning. Hence, this research aimed to examine the figurative language of Psalms used in Psalm. Next, literature review. Here I just put two theories. The first one is from Carstairs, 2017. He states that figurative language is the way of expressing ideas through specific expressions based on language users' character and attitude. And the second one is from Knickerbocker, 1963. He states that figurative language is a language that is used in a specific way to explore the unknown through the established. According to Knickerbocker, there are 10 kinds of figurative language. As we know, they are simile, metaphor, personification, synecdoche, metonymy, hyperbole, irony, paradox, diet metaphor, and allusion.
Ms. Teofani Nurinik, are you having a problem?
Can you see my screen?
Yes, but I cannot hear your voice before.
Oh.
You may continue.
Now you can hear my voice?
Yes, crystal clear.
And here we come to research methodology. This research is a qualitative research and it is a kind of document analysis. And the researcher collect the data through reading the electronic Bible. And after that, the researcher classified the verses based on kinds of figurative language. And here is the findings. The researcher found 29 kinds of figurative language used in Psalm. It consisted of simile, personification, and hyperbole. I have 12 data in simile and 11 data of personification and 6 data of hyperbole. And the first one is simile. I just put 3 data here in each kind of figurative language. The first one is chapter 1, verse 3. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season. This verse is related to simile because there's a comparison between him and a tree that yields the fruits in its season. We can see through the word like. And the second is chapter 12, verse 6. The words of the Lord are pure, words like silver refined in a furnace on the ground, purified 7 times. So this verse is classified into simile also because there's a comparison between the Lord's words and the silver. And the last one is chapter 74, verse 5. They were like those who swing access in a forest of trees. This verse is also related to simile because there's a comparison to, and we can see from the word like. And the second one is personification. In chapter 30, verse 7, by your favor, O Lord, you made my mountain stand strong. This verse is classified into personification because it describes an inanimate object, but it looks like a living object. And the second, in chapter 31, verse 9, be gracious to me, O Lord, for I'm in distress. My eye is wasted from grief, my soul and my body also. From this word, from this sentence, my eye is wasted from grief. It describes that she or he is sad, but this verse explained by using these words, and it is like describing a living object. And the last one is chapter 32, verse 3. For when I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. We can see that my bone here is an object, but this verse describes it like it is a living object. And the last one is hyperbole. In chapter 106, verse 9, he rebuked the Red Sea and it became dry, and he led them through the deep as through a desert. Hyperbole is an exaggeration for special effect. So this verse is classified into hyperbole because it is impossible if the sea becomes dry just by rebuking. And the second is chapter 66, verse 12. You let men ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water. We can see that the words we went through water and fire. This word is classified into hyperbole because it has an exaggeration effect. And as a human, it's impossible if we can go through fire and water. And the last one is chapter 73, verse 9. They set their mouths against the heavens and their tongues struts through the earth. From the last verse, their mouths against the heavens, and it classified into hyperbole because it is impossible if a human can do like this. And we come to the conclusion. The researcher found 29 kinds of figurative language used in some Bible, and it contains of simile, personification, and hyperbole. The most frequently used is simile, and the least frequently used is hyperbole. And here are the references. That's all from me, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Teofana Nurinik, for the very insightful and unique presentation about the figurative language used in some Bible. Let's give applause for Ms. Teofana Nurinik. Okay, now before we go to the last presentation, I would like to remind the participant, if you have a question for the presenters, you may shoot and write the question in the chat box with the format name, affiliation, to whom the question is addressed to, then the question. And later, the presenters will answer it during the question and answer session. Or if you want to ask the question directly to the presenters, it's also possible. Thank you. Now let's move to the last presentation. The title is Language Used in Procedure Text Learning at Junior High School in Critical Discourse Analysis Perspective. It will be delivered by Mr. Nyoman Yesayasa from Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. For Mr. Nyoman, you may have your time and good luck.
Thank you.
And for the share screen, please wait a minute, sir. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Bapak dan Ibu. Today, I want to present my paper about language used in procedure text learning at junior high school in critical discourse analysis perspective. Okay, next. Yeah. The procedure text is one of the texts which is studied by students in junior high school, especially in 7th grade. Next. And the problem, based on the observation of the interaction conducted by some teachers in Bali, their communication contain an abuse of gender. It is not relevant to the CEDAW Conference and Indonesian Human Rights Regulation, especially number 35, and it is not good for them to the future. Okay, next, Maya. Yeah, this paper describe and explain about sexist languages by teacher-student interaction in learning and the teacher-student understanding of the sexist language which is produced by their interaction in the classroom. Okay, next. And this research, I use qualitative research And the subject of this research are Indonesian teacher and student at junior high school in Bali. Next. And data was collected by documenting student text procedure product, observation sheet to the teacher-student interaction, and depth interviews with Indonesian teacher and student. Okay, continue, Mbak. The data was analyzed using critical discourse analysis theory, especially linguistic property like interactional control, modality, and so on. And with the frameworks Fairclough three-dimensional model, and also gender about discourse by Sarah Mill. Okay. Finding and result. Yeah, there are some Indonesian words or sentences that were produced by teachers and students during their learning, like anak perempuan harus bisa memasak, ibu cerdas, perempuan ahli memasak, and so on. And the teacher motivates the female student to improve their cooking skill and better care for their families. Student procedure check related to cooking and other domestic activities. And of the 16 students, 12 female students made procedural text on the topic of cooking, and 6 men students made procedural text on other topic like game and other technology. Yeah, from this product, we can see the ways in which female and male student think. Female student create product related to domestic work, but men student create product related to high technology or modern. Okay. Yeah. When communicating their idea, teacher and student, yeah, especially teacher also do control. Yeah, for example, you should try to make text procedure about cooking because you are a daughter. Jadi dalam bahasa Indonesia, kamu harus membuat teks prosedur ya sehubungan dengan memasak karena kamu adalah perempuan. Ya. In Vergloh perspective, this interaction is classified as interactional control. The aspect of modality also appears in the interaction delivered by the teacher, such as harus, seharusnya, and so on. Okay. Besides that, based on their interview with the teacher and student, they were not aware or conscious of using those words or phrases or sentences. The teacher hoped their student have great competence in producing procedure text, but they are not aware of any abuse of gender in their language. Next. The teacher prioritizes the learning objective achieved by the student, like grammar on tata bahasa Indonesia, because the subject is bahasa Indonesia, ejaan bahasa Indonesia, and structure of the procedural text. Yeah. Yeah. Conclusion. Teacher and student use sexist language while their interaction in the virtual classroom. Some sexist word or sentence used by teachers in the class to ask female student produce procedural text. Next. Yeah, suggestion. Teachers should increase their critical language awareness while use language for grade equally in the classroom. Oke, Bapak Ibu, That's all my presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyoman, for the very critical and also fruitful presentation about language use in procedure text learning, and also about the sexist language in the procedure text. And now it's time for the question and answer session. I will invite only 3 questions, 1 participant, 1 question. You may use the raise hand feature on Zoom and directly ask the question to the presenters, or you may type your question on the chat box. Mention your name, affiliation, to whom the question is addressed to, then the question. However, since that we have some questions already in our chat box, let's start with the first question we have from Miss Agni, from Aloha Grace Academy. The question is for Miss Novita Melati Ananta Putri. It's 2 language styles are absent in the findings. What does it imply in regards to the leading female character social factors? Are there any other factors influencing the absence of these 2 language styles? And thank you. And thank you, Ms. Agni, for the question. Now I will give the time for the presenters who got asked to answer the question. Please, Ms. Novita, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Agnew, for the question. So first, as like what I say, this movie is about a teenager's love story, and in the film, Lara Jean character tended to speak informally and use casual style in the film because she liked to have a friendly atmosphere, which means Lara Jean wanted to make other characters more closer to her, and in the film, there was no scene where Lara Jean need to use frozen style and formal style. And also, for the social factors, I only use from the Holmes 1992 theories that the social factors can influence our choice of language styles by 4 factors: the participant, the location, and social situation, and the conversation, the topic, and the function. So I only analyze based on that theory, and then I found out that there's no scene where Lara Jean need to use the frozen or formal style, but she tended to use more casual styles because of the storyline also, and this is about the teenager love story also. So I hope it's covered the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Novita, for answering the question. And yeah, let's move to the other question we have from Ms. Agni again. For Ms. Theophane, thank you for such informative study on figurative language. However, since the difference from one type of figurative language and another is somewhat subtle, it is very important for the researcher to make a rubric synthesized from various scholars' work to determine the classification of the figurative language type clearly and to minimize the researcher's subjectivity. Oh, I think it's more to an advice, okay, for Miss Stephanie. Yeah.
Thank you for the suggestion, Miss.
All right. Now let's move to the next question we have from Miss Fanny Randa from Sanata Dharma University to Bapak Inyoman Yasa. So the question is, when a teacher is aware of such a sexist language and finds it in the textbook or materials used in the class, what should he or she do? And thank you, Ms. Fanny Randa, for the question. And now I will give the time for Mr. Newman to answer the question. Please, Mr. Newman, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Fanny Randa. Yeah, this is a good question. Yeah, what should teacher do, yeah, in order to have a sexist language, in order to avoid the sexist language in the class. Yeah, uh, the teacher must be always thinking, yeah, think with their word or sentences, um, and usually evaluate the word or sentence or language will be used, yeah, in their classroom. Uh, Word or sentence must be can create equality, yeah, to female student or male student, yeah, so that all of language, word, phrase, or sentences must be give equal for them, female and male student. Yeah. Okay, like that. This is according to the Verglo, yeah, in in the theory of critical language awareness, yeah, or critical language. Okay, okay, Mbak.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Nyoman, for answering the question.
Okay.
And I think we haven't got the question for Ms. Stephanie. So would you mind if I ask Ms. Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay, so I have this question. So what's your opinion on the possible underlying reason for the author of the Bible to put figure of language in Bible sentences? And thank you.
Do you mean that I gave the reason in each data?
No, I mean your opinion. I mean, yeah, your opinion on what's the possible reason why the author put the figure of language in that sentences. Just your opinion.
In my opinion, the reason in put figurative language in Bible, because if we in this era, it is so ordinary if we put just like ordinary words or sentences. So it is very useful to use figurative language in Bible, novel, or etc. And maybe to make the students learn more about the kinds of figurative language used in many objects such as novel, Bible, and short story.
All right, thank you very much for answering my question. So it's to avoid the plainness of the text like that, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay. And it seems that we still have a lot of time. Is there anyone else who wants to ask? Oh, yes. Miss Laurencia Leonovira. Yeah.
Yes.
You may ask directly the question.
All right. So I would like to ask Ms. Stephanie about the research that has been conducted by her. First of all, I would like to appreciate your research topic because it is interesting to analyze Bible. And firstly, I would like to know what kind of English version of Bible that you use for your research primary source. As we know that there are several versions of English translation of Bible. What which one did you use? Is it King James Version, English Standard Version, New International Version, or anything else? And the second one, as Psalm is also read aloud in Mass along with the first reading, second reading, and the Gospel, especially in Catholic Church, is there any approach that can be implemented for the religious leaders by English teachers to make, what is it? How to say it? To make the religious leaders in Catholic and Christian explain the meaning of the psalm in the mass and worship, so that the what's it the people can understand. I think that's all my question.
Miss, yeah, thank you very much, Miss Laurencia Leonovira, for the question. And I will give the time for Miss Theophany to answer the question. So if I'm not mistaken, the first one is about which type of Bible that you use, which version of Bible, which translation, I mean, and then the implementation. Miss Stephanie?
I used electronic Bible and I searched on the internet. So I read through that. Am I answering your question?
Well, yes, but the second one,
Oh, the second one.
yes. So I asked that as there are several types of figurative language used in Bible, and sometimes it is hard to understand as the the people, the followers of the religion, can English teachers give and have any efforts to to help the religious leaders like the pastor, pendeta, or anything else that deliver the readings of Bible to help the people understand about the content of the Bible?
Yeah, sometimes I found it difficult in understanding the meaning because figurative language has a subtle definition in each kind. So I just in analyzing the data, just read all the verses, and I try to understand the definition of each kind of figurative language. So I think if the English teachers can help the religious such as pendeta or pastor in understand the content, I think it can be.
All right, thank you, Ms. Stephanie.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Kira and also Ms. Stephanie for the discussion. And I think we have another question and we still have time. So from Miss Agni, and it's for Pak Nyoman, is it possible to make more criteria to find the indication of gender inequality in EFL classroom or textbooks, apart from the students' interest, like male students are more interested into technology, while female students are more interested in domestic activities? Thank you, Ms. Agni, for the question, and I will give the time to Pak Nyoman to answer the question.
Wait moment, Mbak.
Yes, you may have the time back.
Okay, this is it is good question, yeah. Is it possible to make more criteria to find the indication of gender inequality in EFL classroom or textbook? Yeah, I think it is a very possible, yeah, uh, to make or create the criteria about the indication of gender, yeah, in while the teacher teaching in the classroom, yeah. They choose uh, many word, phrase, or sentences, yeah, which is it is not conscious of the inequality value or abuse of gender value, yeah. Uh, of course, this is a need so many time or long time to make that criteria, yeah. But I think it is very possible because there is a theories like the Verklo, like the Van Dijk, like the uh, theory, other theories, yeah, who has a basic theory about the critical discourse analysis, like Verklo theory, yeah. Maybe Miss 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 Agni, Miss Agni uh, can use the critical discourse theory from Verklo, like the property linguistic, yeah, as the question of for my research theory. You can use the uh, Verklo theory for the property linguistic, like the linguistic control, like the modality, like the metaphor, like the and so on. I remember there are nine the criteria, a principle, what it is made by Verklo. Yeah, maybe next time you can read their theory. Yeah, the property of linguistic by Verklo. Yeah, Norman Verklo. Yeah, I think it is very impossible to make criteria how we use language without abuse of gender. Uh, how we use language without uh, make abuse of gender effect in our class. Yeah. In Indonesian class, in English class, I think can we make the criteria as Agni question? Okay, Mbak, I think so.
All right, thank you very much, Pak Nyoman, for answering the question once again. And thank you as well for the participants and presenters for the very active and fruitful discussion and the Q&A session. And is there still any question? Okay, since no, then that's the end of our session 2. And see you again tomorrow on the second day of the conference. We'll have 3 keynote speeches from Dr. Willy Renandia, Dr. Jane Lammers, and Dr. Chosa Kastuhandani. And before you leave this room, please do fill the exit ticket. You may find the link on the chat box, and make sure you fill the exit ticket so that you will get the certificate of LLTC's conference. And thank you and see you tomorrow. And you may leave the room right now. Thank you.